Ready? Woo-wee. You are correct, Andy. 'Tis working. Thank you for fixing it. Appreciate it. Right. I don't know. What do you think? Still looking at myself? Sure. So enthusiastic. All right. Let's warm up with a little Hine Matov. How nice it is to be together. Hine Matov Umanayu Shevet Achim Namyacha. Hine Matov Umanayu Shevet Achim Namyacha. Seems very loud. Do you like? Hine Matov Shevet Achim Namyacha. Hine Matov Shevet Achim Namyacha. Hine Matov Umanayu Shevet Achim Namyacha. Hine Matov Umanayu Shevet Achim Should I slowly strum? Someone from the board will come up. Is it you? Yachad. Great.
Hi.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Come near the mic.
Okay. I'm Rachel Chow. I'm the Better Late Than Ever board member.
We're glad you're here.
So, welcome. Thank you everybody for coming. It's so nice to see everybody tonight. If anybody has any questions or needs anything, please feel free to come and ask me. I'd be happy to help. If you are new, I would love to meet you and say hi. So please come and find me and say hi if you're new with us. A couple of announcements. We are having the annual meeting on the 22nd, so hopefully everybody is registered and is planning on coming. And we'll be seeing a little bit about this, I think, in the next email. But if you are coming to the annual meeting and you feel so moved, we will be collecting a protein item like a can of tuna or a can of chicken in support of the JFS food pantry at that time. So I encourage you all to do that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. All right. Lovely to be here with you all. We are delighted to have, well, Sophia's here. Is Nora here? Where are you, Nora? There you are. So Nora and Sophia will become Bar Mitzvah tomorrow morning, 10:30. Be here. We're all invited to come celebrate in the Simcha and delighted to have you here with your family with us tonight. They'll be helping to lead a little bit of the service this evening, and then you'll get a chance to hear them lead more tomorrow. Hear some Torah, Haftarah. They'll teach us Torah, have it on good authority, that they both have very great, powerful sermons. Andy, do you agree? Andy got a preview today, so you will not want to miss that. And in the meantime, you're stuck with me tonight. Sorry, but glad you are all here on this beautiful day as we welcome in Shabbat. We're going to begin by lighting our candles. It's that time of year where it feels weird because it is definitely still light out, but that's okay. It's a spirit of the law. So I'm going to invite up, let's see, well, for sure, Nora, Sophia, come on up. Bring along any grown-ups you would like with you. Jess, Nathan, Mishao, Aviva, you want to come up? Yeah, come on up. They're going to help us with lighting the candles and saying our blessing over the wine. So we're going to start on page 2. Oh, I forgot. I did not ask you this before. Who's best with a match here? Nora says she likes fire. Okay.
Don't let her around. Do not let her around.
Someone who is trustworthy, you can go ahead and light that candle. So you're going to use the match to light the little one, and then use that little candle to light the bigger candles. And while that's happening, we're going to read together on the top of page 3. You all can read with me. As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Beautiful. And then one of you can take that candle, do it, Aviva. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And we'll join together in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlikner shel Shabbat. All right, don't go anywhere. Sophia, why don't you go pick up that Kiddush cup? We'll turn to page 5 for Kiddush. And as is our custom here at TBT, Kiddush is a symbol of joy. And so as we're welcoming in Shabbat with our juice, invite anyone who has a simcha, something joyous happening that you would like to share. We'll start up here on the bima. Anyone? Any simcha tomorrow? Gonna be mitzvah, you know. Yeah, but no mitzvah. Okay. Woo. Where did she go? Oh no. Today's Kayla's birthday, and she was here for but a moment. Happy birthday, Kayla. Any other simchas? Yay. Andy's mother's 90th birthday celebration. Amazing. Pearl? Yes, you do. Yes. Oh. Where are you, Ellie? Where are you? Yes. Ed. Happy birthday yesterday, Ed. Beautiful. Any other simchas? It's Friday. Amazing. Woo! All right. So we're going to join together. Top of page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziyat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim ve'shabbat kodecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. You may have a sip of that very sweet grape juice if you would like. You may share it with anyone else if you'd like. Because it's, I don't know. It's grape juice. All right. You all can have a seat after you enjoy. Wow, just going all the way down the line. You get the last of it. How do you feel about that? Thank you all. You can have a seat. Yasher koach. And we are going to turn now to L'chadodi, pages 20 and 21. Lachado D is our poem welcoming in the Sabbath bride, helping us envision what the beauty of Shabbat might look like. We personify it. We're going to join together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to our 9th final verse, you are cordially invited to rise, if you are able, at that time, not right now, and face the entrance to our sanctuary. So, top of page 20. Lecha dodi likakala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likakala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha Yishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem bo tiferet v'litchila Lecha dodi likakala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likakala Pene Shabbat nekabela Likra Shabbat lechuvenecha Ki mekor ha'bracha Mirosh b'kedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh v'mashvat techila Lecha dodi likakala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likakala Pene Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri Kiva ore kumi ori Uri shir daberi Kvod Adonai avayit lipa Lecha dodi likakala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likakala Pene Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom aterefala Gam besimcha u'tola Toch emuneh am segula Boi kala Lecha dodi likakala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likakala Pene Shabbat nekabela. You may all be seated, and we are going to turn now to page 22. So, leading in the Kabbalat Shabbat service, there are a number of psalms that surround Lachado D, and most of them come before Lachado D. This is one, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Psalm 92, that comes actually after Lachado D, and we're going to be focusing down at the bottom part where there's kind of an indent there. Tzaddik Katamar, the righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. All of the Psalms in Kabbalat Shabbat are full of nature metaphors. And we've been talking a lot in the different classes that we have, especially in the Talmud study. Past few weeks, we've been talking about the connection between all the things that are blooming in the world right now and all the blessings that we can say for them and what it means to appreciate all the beauty of spring. So we're going to start here. Then we'll do something. We'll go somewhere from here. You're welcome. Please join in the Hebrew, sing along, and then also maybe take a glance at the English translation as we're singing as well, so you get the words, a sense of what it means. Sadikata Hamar Ifra Ke'eres Bavanon Iskei Shetulim Bevet Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrihu Od Yenuvun Beseva Deshenim Berananim Iyu Lehagi Ki Hashar Adonai Zuri Velo Havlatabo. Okay, in case you forgot to read it, I'll read it out loud for everyone. Aaron. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong. Many metaphors in there. I'm going to invite you to take a moment to turn to somebody in close proximity to you. It doesn't have to be the person right next to you. Find somebody and just share a little bit about what sticks out. Which metaphor is working for you tonight, and what is it saying to you? Maybe it's the old age one, still producing fruit. Maybe it's thriving like a cedar. Whatever it is. So take a few minutes. Make sure you know each other's names and talk about your metaphors. Then we'll come back together. Finish up your thoughts. We're going to come back together, and We're going to sing it one more time. And I'm going to invite you to sing with me this time. Sadikata Hamari Ifra Ke'eres Pavanon Yiske Shetuvi Bevet Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrihu Odienu Ovun Shebeseva Deshenim Verananim Iyu Lehagi Ki Ashar Adonai Zuri Elohav Latabo. That is all by way of getting us ready for the next section of our service, which is the Shema and its surrounding blessings, starting with the Baruch Hu, which is our call to worship, our way of indicating that we are ready as a community. So if you feel ready, we'll invite you to rise if you are able. We'll join together. Page 28, Baruch Hu. Yai, dai, dai, yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Dai, dai, yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. You may be seated, and we are going to continue now on page 30 with Ma'ariv Aravim. Let's join together in the English of this blessing. Page 30 at the bottom there. Please join me. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32, Ahavat Olam, our blessing, giving thanks for the love that God shows us through the gift of Torah. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Torah u'mitzvot, hukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadata. Akein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, v'kumenu nasiach b'chukacha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem hayenu v'yoreh Kevamo Yisrael. I'm going to invite up Nora and Sophia now, who are going to lead us beautifully, I'm sure, in Shema Ve'Havta, starting on page 34. You may use that. Hmm? Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam V'amen. ואהבת את אדוני אליך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושמרתם בבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohim Emet.
Yeshkoach. You may sit down. And we're going to turn now to page 40 for Michamocha, our song of freedom. We move in this section of the service, we move, whether or not you realize it, we move through creation and revelation and redemption, the three main themes that occur within the story of our Torah, occur within the little story of our service here. And so we end at that peak moment of redemption, reminding us that we were freed from slavery in order to become something, to become a nation, a holy nation, which we'll learn a little bit about more tonight and tomorrow morning as well. So, Michamocha is on page 40. Let's turn together. Oldie but a goodie. Haven't done this one. And let's join together on top of page 41. Please read with me in the English. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. That moment of redemption, that Michamocha moment, is one where the Israelites felt perhaps buoyed. I'm not sure they felt entirely safe, because the Egyptians were close behind them, ancient Egyptians. But there was a moment of a feeling as if God is protecting them. And so we move now from Michamocha to Hashkivenu on page 42, which is one of the prayers that comes from the rabbinic tradition, the rabbis who noticed that we're not always in those moments where we feel as if it's like so obvious that God is protecting us. And more often than not, we're in moments where we feel vulnerable and perhaps afraid. So this is one of the prayers that the rabbis write that made it into our prayer book, asking God to help us feel safe, help us feel that Sukkot Shalom, that shelter of peace over us. So join together on page 42, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'chamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'chamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufos aleinu, zuenu, l'chaim u'shalom, me'ata v'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'chamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'chamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Before we move into the Amidah, the peak moment of our service, we make a little pause on page 44 to join together in the words of Vishamru, reminding us that, so most of the things that we just sang and read together, these are prayers that we say on Shabbat, but they're also prayers that we say every day. They're not special necessarily for Shabbat. And Vishamru is here to remind us that on Shabbat, we have an extra special little obligation, not just to do Shabbat, to keep Shabbat, but to take joy in Shabbat. So we're going to join together Vishamru. Rabbi Dusty and I have learned that even though we both grew up in the same place, here's what happens. You go to other synagogues, and then every place does things a little bit differently, and you adapt to it. And so we've realized with this song in particular that we both do it in two different ways. So if you're here on a regular basis, you've seen us have that moment every time we do this where we're like, ugh. And I am very sad she's not here because I always love leading with her. And also, now we won't have any confusion. But you do it whatever way you want. It's okay. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את Shabbat Ledorotam Beritolam Ki Sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai Et HaShamayim Ve'et Haaretz V'shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Ledorotam Beritolam Uvayom Hashvi. I'm waiting to see where her hand motion. Vayinafash Shabbat Vayinafash Shabbat Vayinafash V'shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Ledorotam Beritolam V'shamru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat Ledorotam Beritolam. We are going to continue now with the Amidah, giving us the opportunity to, where did it go? Giving us the opportunity to join together in our words of praise and reflection. I feel like this is not as stable as it used to be. Stay. Okay. And then giving us the opportunity as well to stand communally, but sort of reflect for a moment in our own personal private prayer. So we'll start together as one people on page 46. If you're able, please rise. Starting with the words of the psalm, praying for the ability to pray. Adonai sefartai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Lifnei V'Neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Hoseh U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Mananai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Oholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Giverot, Umidom Melech, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu Selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We're going to continue quietly, either using the words of the prayer book or just sitting with whatever is in our hearts right now. This section of our service concludes on page 62 with Tefillat Halev, the meditations of our heart. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera. Oh my God, watch over me. Take the hurt away from how I speak. Only love flows from you. May every word I speak be true. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera. Where words are thrown, I'll hold my tongue and breathe the air of songs I've sung. That refrain I'll repeat. There's more to you than only me. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera Usvatai Medaber Mirma Vilam Kli Lila Nafshi Tidom Venafshi Keafar Laho Tehiyeh Tehiyeh Da-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da. Turn now to page 253. On every Shabbat, we do not ask for much. We, in fact, ask for one thing, which is for God to help bring a sense of healing and wholeness to those loved ones in our lives who are in need, who are struggling. Perhaps we ourselves are in need of healing. And so we join together in our prayer, our Mishaberach prayer for healing. And on this Shabbat, as a community, we're praying for the healing of Jacqueline Tara Smith, Deborah Rose, Eileen Kreisman, Ronnie Haber, Ellen Gottlieb, Vanessa Bianco, Paul McCready, Glenn Letts, Carl Wilhite, Ginny Gaston, Cindy Balin, Patty Newby, Joe Giordano, Janine Morris, Ron Louie, Sally Wildison, Marnie Good, Sylvia Angel, Marion Laird, Sheldon Robert, William Stangler, Lisa Bush, Patricia Barber, Kyle Asadorian, Paul Norris, Stephen Thrasher, Julia Dorfman, Lori Halper, Elizabeth Simons, Bob Cook, Tora Knapp, Jason Getler, John Huttenhaus, Nina Schechter, Alan Schwartz, Amanda Young, and Jessica Abbott. If there are other names you would like to add to our list tonight as we join together in our prayer for healing, I invite you to do so now. If you're online and want to share in the chat, please do. And if you're in the room, you can share with us nice and loud. Thanks. Join together in the middle of page 253. Mi sheberach avoteinu makor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Amen. My guitar over here this time. Not sure I trust that. Last night in my reintroduction to Judaism class, we were talking ever so briefly about the annual cycle of studying the weekly Torah portion. And I shared that each year at Simchat Torah, I like to pick out a new commentary to focus on for that year. And I mostly do it to increase the chances that I will keep studying the Torah portion each week. Because even for rabbis who devote ourselves to Torah, life is busy. And after the high of Simchat Torah, I start off strong with Genesis, and then other things take over the weekly routine. And before I know it, I have lost any intentional practice of sitting down and studying the Torah portion. And I know I'm not alone in this. The author, Daniel Pink, wrote in his book called When, The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing, which I read a few years ago and I have not yet figured out the secrets of perfect timing. But I do remember from that book that he uses as an example. He talks about how most people who celebrate Hanukkah light a candle on the first night, and they have every intention of lighting candles all of the nights, as we all do. And they probably light the second candle. But by the third night, he says, most people drop out. They start forgetting to light the candles. But then, he notes, they come back strong for a big finish on that eighth night. So, he uses this example to illustrate that there's something very natural and challenging about the middle point of anything. It just is really hard for people. And so it is with reading Torah each week also. We get to the middle of the Torah. A lot of people lose steam. Also, it's Leviticus, which does not have the best reputation for being relevant or interesting. So lots of people drop out. And they always come back at Deuteronomy for the High Holy Days when they're ready to start again. Which is a shame, because while Genesis and Exodus contain the most profound stories of the Jewish family transforming into a nation, Leviticus is filled with some of our most profound commandments, which is what enables us to become more than just another nation. It's the foundation of how we become a holy nation. This is the meat of who we are meant to be. I will grant you that commandments, a bunch of rules, is not quite as interesting or sexy as, a bunch of family drama. But this is, I think, the good stuff. In particular, this week, we read from Parshat Kedoshim, a portion that begins with the commandment, Kedoshim tihiyu, ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. You shall be holy, for I, the eternal your God, am holy. At first glance, this seems like a rather abstract and lofty ideal. God's holy, so we should be holy. What does that even mean? What does it mean to be holy? And as we continue to read the verses that follow, it begins to feel like a chaotic jumbling of commandments, as if God couldn't pick a focus. Starts off, you shall revere your parents. All right, so it's like a ben adam lachavaro thing, relationships between people. Then keep Shabbat. So we have revere your parents and keep Shabbat. So it's almost like we're doing another little 10 commandment type thing. Nope, hard left turn. There's a whole section about how to properly sacrifice animals. Then there's commandments about taking care of the poor, taking care of the earth, taking care of our bodies, mitzvot that forbid fraud and robbery and dishonesty. It goes on, weaving in and out between ethical mitzvot, ritual mitzvot, and instructions for temple offerings, which are the hardest ones to connect to. A surface reading of this chapter might make you dizzy and frustrated because everything is completely intertwined and seemingly all over the place. But Rabbi Rick Jacobs, the president of the Union for Reform Judaism, offers a teaching about this Torah portion saying it's on purpose. It's not like it's saying, here's the ritual, here's the ethics, here's the environmental justice, here's the economic justice. It's interspersed from verse to verse. And you could say, well, it's confused. The editor must not have been careful. Or, he says, you could say that what Leviticus, and specifically chapter 19, is doing, which is also called the Holiness Code, is it's telling us what it means to live a spiritual life. To live a spiritual life, he says, is not all about ritual. It's not all about personal ethics. It's not all about fighting for social justice in our communities. It's about all of them all the time. The Torah weaves together a vision for what it means to live what he calls it a holy, holy Jewish life. W-H-O, then H-O. A holy, holy Jewish life. His insight challenges us to move beyond compartmentalized notions of holiness. Holiness isn't confined to the sanctuary or limited to specific rituals. It permeates every aspect of our lives. Whether at work or we're at home or in the public space, we are required, the Torah says, to integrate personal ethics, ritual, and justice. The Torah teaches us that we bring holiness into the world by how we treat each other, how we engage with the world, and how we live our values. And this chapter gives us some very specific commandments around that, what those mean, which Nora and Sophia will teach a little bit more about tomorrow. But in terms of ritual, being Jewish here, we think about being Jewish as lighting Shabbat candles, eating matzah, wearing a talit and a kippah, reading from the Torah in Hebrew. But Leviticus is teaching us that being Jewish is also about how we infuse ritual into our everyday lives. For the sages of early rabbinic Judaism, celebrating Passover lent itself to creative Jewish ritual just as much, I'm not even joking here, as going to the bathroom. Or, though it didn't exist in the time, recycling or composting. When you lift the Kiddush cup, you say a blessing. You can also say a blessing when you take out your composting, because that too is, in this model, doing Jewish. But it's not enough to just live in the world and do stuff and slap a blessing on it and say we're doing Jewish. To be Jewish is to walk through the world with an ethical compass, if you will. The Torah does not use modern terms like Jewish identity, which is something we use as if it's something that we can sort of slip in and out of. And even for the rabbis of the Talmud were struggling to figure out what it meant to live among non-Jewish nations. Even they didn't compartmentalize ritual from the banality, you could say, of everyday life. You're just Jewish. Everything you do is Jewish. You're Jewish. And to be Jewish means, specifically, that you are called upon to be holy, which is not about being pure. It's not a state of perfection. It's not about being blessed or some blessing or special attribute that's bestowed on us. Leviticus, Parshat Kedoshim, teaches us that to be holy is explicitly tied to what we do in the world. For us, in this moment in time, when we see things happening like cutting federal funding to programs that support vulnerable communities, we know that these decisions can have devastating effects on those who rely on public assistance, and whether it's healthcare for underserved populations, education in struggling districts, environmental protections for future generations. These are not abstract policies. They are real lives, and there are real people and real moral choices that are happening. And so the question is how we as Jews choose to respond. This past Sunday, our Better Together group went to Jewish Family Service, which Rachel alluded to a little bit. I'm going to talk about it more now, if that's okay. We went to Jewish Family Service, and we visited the food bank there and did a little bit of learning and did a service project together. And when we were down in the food bank getting a tour, relatively small space, Jonah and Rabbi Ronit, who were giving us the tour, shared something with us. They shared that, well, there are three, I'm going to say, main ways that they get food for donations. One, people donate money, they buy food, give it. Also, people bring food, like during the high holy days, we bring bags of food, and those go on a truck. Nestor takes a U-Haul to JFS, and those get donated. There are also these really big giant bulk centers for food donations where they get a lot of stuff, and then they sort of divvy it up and give smaller bulk versions to HopeLink, to JFS, And so all of those donations, the ways that they get food, one of the things that Rabbi Ronit shared is that because of the policy changes that we've been seeing, because of things happening on a federal level, what they've seen recently is that the amount of food that they have to donate, to give out, has dropped by almost 75%. An insane amount. And not only that, JFS has been around for 100 years. 100 years. And they shared, when we were down there in the tour, another person, Mara, popped out and shared with us that the week before, on one of the days, they hit a record for the highest number of people coming through their doors looking for food. And they were flabbergasted. Wow. And then the next day, they beat that record because even more people came in for food. So they're losing all these donations. They have way less access to food to give out, and the need is higher than ever. And this is just one example of how we know that there are real implications for things happening locally. And it's up to us to think about, when we respond, what does it mean to respond through a lens of holiness as Jewish people? Leviticus teaches us that a society without compassion is incomplete. We also have in this Torah portion, which Sophia will chant tomorrow, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, one of our most famous quotes, to love your neighbor as yourself. And so we're commanded not to look away, not to become complacent, and going back to Daniel Pink's teaching at the beginning, not to lose steam. I think there were a lot of people wanted to jump into action after inauguration, after the 100 days, and when there are so many things happening, and the longer it goes on, as we know from Daniel Pink, it can be hard in that middle ground to stay motivated. But in the light of all these things, Parshat Kedoshim teaches us that holiness essentially is synonymous with compassion, with empathy, and with a relentless pursuit of justice. And so we are called upon by this vision of holiness to respond to the injustices of the world with moral clarity, compassion, and action. As we continue to navigate contemporary challenges in our lives, let us draw inspiration from the call of Leviticus And may this Shabbat inspire us to live lives that are, as Rabbi Jacobs calls, holy, holy, grounded in justice, infused with ritual, and steeped in a deep commitment to the well-being of all. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to continue now with Aleinu, which is on page... No, we're not. How dare I forget? Thank goodness I wrote it down. Before we continue with Aleinu, we're going to do this probably every Friday until we get to Shavuot. We're going to forget and then remember. We're counting the Omer. So there's a tradition between Passover and Shavuot, these two big harvest holidays, to count the days in between and to say a blessing, which could just be a silly thing that is, we say a blessing, we say what day it is, and we move on. It is also, back to that idea of bringing ritual into our lives, an opportunity to mark time and notice how am I progressing? How in a 49-day period do I move through the world with intention? So, page 278, that is where we have our Sfirat HaOmer, our blessing for counting the Omer. It's getting trickier. The more days we have, blessing gets a little longer. Well, blessing itself doesn't get longer. So, we're going to, if you would, join me in the middle of the page with the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al Sfirat HaOmer. Hayom shiva ve'esrim yom shehem shosha shavuot v'shisha yamim la'omer, which means that tonight, when the sun goes down, is 27 days, which is 3 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. Now we can continue with Aleinu on page 283. 283, reminding us to be that holy light unto the nations. If you're able, please rise. We'll join together. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gdula liatzer breshit, shehu sam chelkenu liached et shemo, v'gor aleinu l'hamlich malchuto, la'nachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lecha kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shamo Ushamo echad. May be seated. We continue now on page 294 with Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, bringing into our midst the names and memories of loved ones that we have lost either in recent past or at this time in years past. And on this Shabbat, we are in the Shloshim period, the first 7 days of mourning the loss of Steve London, brother-in-law of Ed Bolson, and Vida Sheehy, cousin of Marnie Good. She called Susie, right? Called her Susie. And Sue Fredine, the cousin of Sandy Lindstrom. We are also in the 30-day period, the Shloshim period, mourning the loss of Elaine Slotnick, sister of Jack Bookie and sister-in-law of Frankie Bookie. This Shabbat, we also mark the yahrzeits of loved ones that we lost at this time in years past. We remember Vera Aisnoff, Elizabeth Hyde, Hilda Vasson, David Bernstein, Samuel Darakovsky, Irene Abrams, Francis Capel, Helen Lindsay Pearson, Robert Quinn, Florence Saunders Gordon, Susan Gottlieb, Harriet Kodish, Leah Bowes, Esther Burdett, Howard Rosenman, Benny Shapiro, Shirley Hager, Michael Sirkinpool, and Richard Denmark. If there are other loved ones that you're remembering tonight, or if I mispronounce a name, I invite you to rise if you are able and share with us. And if you're online, you can share in the chat. Thank you. If you're able, please rise. We'll join together in support of those who are in mourning as we say the words of Kaddish Yatom together, page 294. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yote v'yamlich malchute, b'chaychon v'yomechon, v'vchaye dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala uvizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shalma rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. You can be seated. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, v'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. What do we do? Caleb's not here. No Kayla, Harmony. I won't call you up because you're going to do it tomorrow. I guess I'll have to do it. All right, ready? Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lecha min haaretz, b'tei avon. B'tei avon. Shabbat shalom, everybody. I have no one to pass this off to. Usually I have a small child. So here, pass this around. There you go, Pearl. Have some challah, pass it around.